What's up, you guys? Coming back at you all with another deck tech video. This time we're going to be looking at Gishath, Sun's Avatar, one of the newest commander options from Ixalan, and he is pretty menacing. He has Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. He's a 7/6 for 8 mana, and whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you look at the top cards of your library equal to that amount of damage you dealt, and you get to put any number of dinosaur creature cards from among them onto the battlefield. Pretty good ability. The only downside is that we don't really have enough support yet. I mean, there's a ton of dinosaurs that we can choose from, but it seems like a lot of them are more or less just limited playable. Some of them are pretty decent options for commander. So let's get in onto the actual deck here. If you want to see the full deck list, please check out the link. It will be in the description box below. So to start it off here, we need some good ramp, and we have some good synergistic ramp in the set already. We have Pillar of Origins. It is a 2-mana artifact that can add 1 mana of any color to our mana pool, and it can only be used to cast a creature of the chosen type, so keep that in mind. Kinjali's Collar can help make our dinosaurs 1 mana less. Pretty good. Gishath is a hefty 8 mana. Drover of the Mighty can become a 3/3 as long as we control a dinosaur, and it can tap for 1 mana of any color, so it's good ramp. Otepec Huntmaster is similar to the Collar. It makes our dinosaurs 1 mana less to cast, and it can also give our dinosaur haste. Then we have Growing Rights of Itlamok. Pretty decent in a creature-based deck where we don't have enough support yet. It can dig at the top 4 and give us a creature card, and if we have enough creatures, we get to flip it, and it essentially becomes a Guy's Cradle. Super powerful in creature decks. Then we have some more cards here in Herald's Horn, which can make our dinosaurs cost 1 less. Then we get to look at the top card of our library during our upkeep, and if it's a dinosaur card, we get to put it into our hand. Then we have Traverse the Outlands, can help us get a ton of lands from our deck, because we are playing a lot of dinosaurs, and they have some pretty big power and toughness. This is likely going to get us, 6 lands, 7 lands from our deck. Pretty good. Then we go on to creatures. We need some support here. We don't have enough dinosaurs yet. We have some limited playable dinosaurs, but that's about it. The commander playable ones are kind of few and far in between, but we need some support here, so we have that in the form of Metallic Mimic, Mirror Entity, and Taurean Mauler. Now keep this in mind, the Metallic Mimic is not something you can get off of the Gishath trigger, because it is a dinosaur when you choose to have it become a dinosaur when it enters the battlefield. Whereas the 2 changelings can be retrieved off of the Gishath trigger, because changelings have the ruling where they're technically considered all creature types no matter what zone they're in, whether it's in your deck, your graveyard, or even outside of the game. They're always considered dinosaurs or whatever creature type, anything that you really need. Moving on from that, we have Priest of the Awakening Sun. During our upkeeps, we can reveal a dinosaur card from our hand, and we get to gain 2 life. Not too special, but we do get to pay 5 mana and sacrifice it and tutor up a dinosaur card. Tutors are always powerful in this format, especially when they synergize with a tribe. Raptor Hatchling isn't too special, more limited playable, but it does technically give us 2 bodies for 2 mana, which is always nice. You have Sky Terror, 2 mana, 2/2 flyer with Menace. Difficult to block, and it's something that we can just keep hacking away at our opponents. And we have Kinjali Sunwing, imposing sovereign type effects, Authority of the Consuls, cards like that, super powerful. And having this on a dinosaur is definitely going to help slow down our opponents. Rampaging Ferocidon. I like always punishing anybody really just for playing more and more creatures. Since this isn't a deck where I feel like we're going to be getting out a ton of creatures, we're not going to be paying the biggest price for playing creatures. Then we play Ranging Raptors. One of my favorite enrage abilities. When it's dealt damage, we get to search up a basic land from our deck and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Ramping up is always nice. This isn't really guaranteed ramp, but it's something that we can get us into the late game. Then we play Imperial Aerosaur. It's a 3/3 flyer that can give another creature +1/+1 and flying until end of turn when it enters the battlefield. That's nice. It can help us swing in for damage. Pretty good dinosaur. A little bit more limited playable, but it's what we have to work with. Steadfast Armosaur, another example of a limited playable dinosaur that we just kind of have to settle for. It can kind of deal more damage whenever it's blocked, equal to its toughness, so we have the ability to kind of undermine whatever creature we want to. You have Ripjaw Raptor, also pretty good, 4/5 for 4 mana, good value creature. Whenever it's dealt damage, another awesome enrage trigger, gets to draw a card. Pretty good. Charging Monstrosaur is a 5/5 for 5 mana. It has trample and haste, so it's going to be able to connect there earlier in the game, especially in Commander where something like this is more limited playable, but it's still good. It still helps us deal more damage earlier on. Same thing with Snapping Cellback, another limited playable card that we have to bring to this format and settle for. But whenever it's dealt damage, it has a pretty decent enrage trigger. It gets a +1/+1 counter on itself. And the fact that it has flash, you can basically just flash this into play, block a weaker creature, have it die. It gets a +1/+1 counter. Pretty good. Then we have Sunblessed Mount, only in here to tutor up our Huatli Planeswalker, or one of the two that we're playing. Tutors are always nice whenever you can basically fetch up another card. You're technically getting a +1 there in card advantage. Pretty nice. Then we have a Raging Swordtooth. The 1 damage to each other creature is nice. It can help trigger our enrage. That little synergy there, definitely worth playing it in the deck. We have Regisaur Alpha, gets a 3/3 green dinosaur token with trample, and it gives our other dinosaurs haste, which is nice. Bellowing Aegosaur, whenever it's dealt damage, another enrage trigger, other dinosaur creatures we control get +1/+1 counters. Burning Sun's Avatar, now we're getting to the bigger creatures. Whenever it enters the battlefield, we get to deal 3 damage to a creature and 3 damage to an opponent. I like how it splits up the damage. We have a Carnage Tyrant, super effective, a little bit underwhelming in Commander, but it's still a powerful force to be reckoned with. It can't be countered, and it has hexproof. It's a 7/6 with trample, so it's likely going to connect. It's just a nice dinosaur to get off the top with a Gishath trigger. Then we have a Goring Ceratops. Whenever it attacks, it gives our other creatures double strike. It has double strike itself. It's just a 3/3. It's the only downside, but it's always nice when you play a big creature based deck to give our creatures double strike. Then we have a Thundering Spineback, gives an anthem to our other dinosaurs, and you can pay 6 mana to make a 3/3 dinosaur token, so it's pretty good. Then we have Verdant Sun's Avatar. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to its toughness. It helps us grind out games, stay in the game longer, play more creatures. Just a ton of benefits there. And Awakening Sun's Avatar is a one-sided board wipe. Likely, we're the only dinosaur deck at the table, so we're just going to be cleaning house here. And your dinosaurs all survive. Everything else that's not a dinosaur dies. Pretty self-explanatory, really powerful. Now we move on to some of our tribal support cards. We have Commune with Dinosaurs, just a 1 mana sorcery that helps us dig at the top 5, and we can either put a land or a dinosaur card from among them into our hand. Really good at getting whatever we want, really. And if we don't get a dinosaur, worst case scenario, we get a land. Then we have Savage Stomp, which is just a great card. It's just a prime example of Green's way of dealing with problem creatures, and the fact that it's just 1 mana, because you're only going to be using this on a dinosaur anyway. It gets a +1/+1 counter on the dinosaur, and it gets to fight another target creature. It's a good way to trigger enrage, and it's good removal overall. Then we have Steely Resolve, sort of like the asceticism way of giving hexproof to our creatures, as long as they're in the same tribe. These are all dinosaurs, so they're all going to get the same blanket type of protection there. Then we have Kindred Boon, another way that we can give indestructible to our creatures. Pretty nice. If we can use it, we use it. If not, it just sits on the field. It's not a bad card. Kindred Charge, super powerful. One of our finishers, hopefully if we can get it off. We have a ton of dinosaurs. Making tokens of them that have haste, that's likely going to help us win the game. Then we move on to our 2 Planeswalkers. We play both Huatlis, the Warrior Poet and the Dinosaur Knight. I actually believe the Dinosaur Knight is a little bit better. It gets +1/+1 counters on a dinosaur we control. Its minus can have a dinosaur deal damage to another creature equal to its power, so it's not really fighting, but it's somewhat removal. And its ult is basically like an overrun for dinosaurs, nothing too special. That could be the difference between winning and losing. You could push in for extra damage there. It's not too bad. And Huatli Warrior Poet's just a little bit more standard focused. Its plus is okay. Gaining life isn't too special. The 0, it just gets us a 3/3 token. Nothing too crazy, but if we need it, we get it. And the -X is essentially just going to be used to trigger Enrage if we have any enraged creatures out there. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. Moving on from that, we do have some more tribal support in the form of Vanquisher's Banner, one of the newest cards from Ixalan. And we get an anthem for all of our dinosaurs, and whenever we cast a dinosaur, we get to draw a card. Pretty good card draw. You have Door of Destinies and Coat of Arms, pretty much staples in any creature-based tribal deck. Makes them huge, and it's a pain in the ass to deal with them. And we need some tutors, because tutors are always nice. We play Worldly Tutor and Congregation at Dawn. You could also play ones like Eladamari's Call, and Enlightened Tutor to search up some of our good enchantments and artifacts. Worldly Tutor and Congregation at Dawn, though, are just some of the funnest to work with so far. You get to put a creature on the top of your deck. With Worldly Tutor, you get to put 3 on the top of your deck with Congregation. So just super powerful. Allows us to get the best possible dinosaurs out with Gishath. Not a bad thing at all. And then to wrap it all up, why not play Titanic Ultimatum? Giving our creatures +5/+5, first strike, lifelink, and trample is likely going to seal the deal. Hopefully we get to go wide with dinosaurs and Rivals of Ixalan. This is just what we have right now, and Naya, just to win the game a little bit more easily. So anyway guys, that's going to do it for this deck tech of Gishath Sun's Avatar. It is a little bit weak right now. Hopefully get some more dinosaur support that's going to help speed it up a bit, go wider. I think that'll definitely help the deck out. It wants to be aggro, but it wants to take advantage of a lot of the Sun's Avatars that we've been getting. You know, the dinosaurs like the Burning Sun's Avatar, the Awakening Sun's Avatar, the Verdant Sun's Avatar, those bigger dinosaurs that are just going to help us push through with more damage. But we need to get a little bit more aggression here. I definitely think with Rivals we're just going to get even more, so look forward to that. It's definitely going to help fill in the gaps here, and I definitely think there's a lot of room for improvement, and hopefully beyond just Ixalan we get more dinosaur support down the road. It's very promising, and I definitely love the creature type so far. I love the Enrage keyword as a whole. I think it's very interesting, and I would definitely like to see something that's more aimed towards Commander as far as those keywords go. Pretty good overall, though. Again, if you want to see the full deck list, check it out. It will be in the description box below. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Void here signing off.